this time, I'd like to call to order this special joint session, this meeting, or joint meeting of the joint planning and zoning commissions. Let the record show that Mr. Scott Courtwright is absent. This time, I'd like to open up the floor for the public comment period. Anyone wishing to come up and address the commission, any item that's not up for public hearing, please come up, sign with the secretary, and you will get your 3 minutes to speak. No one wishing to speak. Item 4, acceptance of the minutes of the October 10th, 2007 meeting.
So moved.
Have a motion to approve by Julio Dumas, seconded by Alan Kraus. Is there any opposition or discussion? Motion passes. Item 5, public hearing to consider the following. 5A, Bullion Crossing Planned Unit Development. Since this is the final development plan, this will only be a vote of the Planning Commission. This does not go as a recommendation to the council.
Mickey Robinson, SJB Group. I'm here tonight representing the developers of Bullion Crossing. We are here tonight asking for approval. Sorry, may not be high enough. We're here tonight asking for approval of phases 1 and 2, which consists of approximately or exactly 130 single-family residential lots and 98 townhome lots. Everything we have proposed on the final development plan is in accordance with the conceptual plan that was approved by the Planning Commission and the Council. We have addressed all comments by DPW and the Engineering Review Agency, and I'm here tonight to ask for your approval. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions from commissioners at this time? Not, then I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to come up and address the commission on this property, please sign in with the secretary, and you'll get your 3 minutes to speak. No one wishing to speak. Comments or questions from commissioners?
You have a copy of the tree management plan and the reforestation plan?
No, sir. Stipulation by the Planning Commission was that it be submitted with the construction plans.
Are you finished, Julio? Are you finished?
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
At our last meeting, and I don't see a change on this, so that's why I wanted to clarify it. In the information I was given this month, the information says that construction of the commons area amenities will begin when 75% of the single-family lots in Phase 2 are sold. Is that still your plan?
As far as I know, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Last month, I pointed out that the ordinance says it's supposed to be developed concurrently with the phasing.
Okay.
So when you do Phase 1, the amenities in Phase 1 are to be done, right? So you've got some trails and such in Phase 1. Will those be done at the same time Phase 1 is developed?
Yes, ma'am. If that is part of the ordinance, we'll be happy to go ahead and construct those as part of Phase 1. That's not a problem.
Okay. Is there any other type, what other type of amenities will you have in Phase 1?
Phase 1 will have a lot of landscaping, front entrances, signs. We're asking for approval of Phase 1 and 2 tonight. We'll actually start Phase 1 as soon as we get construction plans, then Phase 2 will be going on too. The community recreation, in other words, on Tract A and B on your plan that is within Phase 2, that will be part of Phase 2. So, you know, if the commission is, and the ordinance states that I need to begin that construction concurrently with the issuance of occupancy certificates on the homes or building permits on the homes, I don't have any problem with that.
Okay, What I'm reading that y'all are saying is vastly different from what the ordinance says, so that's why I just wanted to bring it up and make sure
I think
y'all
it's
are
a very
aware of
good
what
point.
it says.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for clarifying.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners? There are no other comments or questions. What is the wish of the commission?
Is part of the private street, the servitude of access in these townhouse lots? Well, I can't follow your diagram. I'm sorry. Too confusing. All the lines are the same.
Yes. The lots go to the center line of the servitude of access. If you're looking at Phase 1,
All right. Well, I think your servitude of access needs to be outside. Needs to be outside those lots. Those lots have to be. I mean, the 2,000 square feet has to be free and clear of any encumbrances, I think. So yeah, I think you need to clean that up somehow. I mean, you have the cul-de-sac that goes right through some of the lots.
well, the servitude is a part of the lot, but the lots are well above the 2,000 minimum. They're outside of the servitude and setbacks. They're roughly 20 by 100, I believe, are the dimensions.
Well, I'm not quite sure I can follow your math here. You know, you have a 110-foot deep lot. You have 31 of them, 31 feet of it. It's servitude of access line, and 15 foot of it is servitude of access line, so that leaves you with 95 feet. So 20 times 95 is, that's not 1,000. That's not 2,000.
No, 1,900.
So,
It's 1,000.
I think the ordinance says.
right, I mean, so, you know, I think you need to fix this. You need to clean this up.
Well, okay.
This is just, Mr. Dumas, this is how we typically do townhome projects where it's a private street. So, that's why it is like this. In other words, this Phase 1 is a private area. It's not public maintenance. So the owners of the townhomes, the association, will be responsible for maintaining that road. Then there's a gate before you get to it.
Staff, you have a comment here that says that the townhouse lots in Phase 1 have 2,000 square feet, and that the 30-foot private access servitude cannot be included in the 2,000 square feet.
It should be excluded from the
Right.
square footage.
And if I'm
It should
if
be
I'm
all common
reading
area.
this graphic correctly, okay, your 2,000 square feet are not
Right, so
free and clear. And that's what I think you need to get to. I mean, I don't have an issue with where your property line is. I think you need to show that you have 2,000 square feet in every lot that are free and clear for
Right,
construction.
that would be as simple as adding 5 feet to the rear of the lots would get you.
However you want to do it.
So we
I
don't have
think
a problem complying with that. As you can see from the layout, adding 5 feet to the rear would not adversely affect our layout. There's no problem complying with that.
Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Sanji, you had a comment under staff or under ERA about the entrance to the private. Sorry, let me find it. The proposed gated entrance. What will happen to the vehicles when they are denied access? How they turn around?
I just think my point was y'all need to understand what's happening there. Because there's not a whole lot of detail. It's on sheet 3 shows the gated entry. If a car pulls up to the gated entry and is denied access, he's got to have a way to turn around. And they're trying to show the use of the private servitude behind the lots in Phase 2, I guess. But if a car is trying to come out of that private servitude, and then you got someone that's denied access, it just appears to me that it's a pretty tight configuration. And you've got however many lots in Phase 1. This is not a small townhouse development. So I just have a concern about the configuration, and y'all can look at it yourself and make your own judgment.
And we did widen the that, I guess, exit entrance to the private drive there to 20 by 50 to make room for a car to go back in there and leave. These will be actuated gates. It won't be come in and punch a code. As you drive up, it will open and you'll be able to go in. So,
but if it's a gate, it's designed to keep somebody out, right?
Correct.
So if that person that comes up and he's denied access, he's got to stop and he's got to turn around.
Correct.
And if he can't turn around, it's going to be a jam in there.
Right. But we're talking about 1 or 2 cars, every hour or so. It's not I-12. We don't anticipate that being a big problem.
It's 97 lots.
98.
98, actually.
98, whatever.
Yeah, it's 98, and in the morning and in the evening, that could be a tough challenge. I think you need to show a little bit more greater detail of that whole configuration and study that a little bit better. I mean, there's other solutions to it other than that lengthy private servitude along the rear of those lots. I think you need to look at that geometry and see how you might want to come up with a more creative solution for that. But I think cars ought to be able to get back there if that gate, homeowner association 10 years from now decides to do it a card reader rather than just a approach and open. I think you need to have the geometry in place there for them to be able to maneuver and be rejected if they don't belong there. Some sightseer comes back there and, oops, gated, I got to leave. They have to be able to get out and not be in a difficult situation.
Or just pull over and let other people in. You're going to block your own access to the development.
Yeah, one car behind him and nobody moves.
Right.
We'll look at it and get it to however y'all like. That private servitude access is there so that the houses have rear entry garages and not front load garages.
Right. It's not there.
And so, if someone comes in here, they back up and they leave. If they turn down the private servitude, they turn right when they get to Gateway Drive and they leave. To me, it's ideal. You can stack, but I don't want to say it is if you think it's not.
Well, then possibly your gate's in the wrong place. Maybe you need to move it further and have an abort lane so they can get back onto the servitude.
Right. Could be as simple as just moving the gate around the corner and then
putting an abort lane there.
Just having a right turn to get to the private drive. It can be that simple. We can make that.
We're not the layout guys.
Right.
You guys, you're supposed to bring it to us.
It could be including lots 99 through 109 in the gated community, but it's just an observation. It's your development. I just think you've got a problem there. That's all.
And I think we can address it by moving the gate further around the curve. That way, if you get denied, you can just take a right and leave that way. I think it's just a matter of relocating the gate. See what I'm saying?
Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Michael, this meets all your checklist items, this submittal?
I believe it does, yes. The items under final development plan, I believe, are the items that we found were not included up from the checklist. If that answers your question.
Yes, sir.
But that's all been addressed, and it's included in the latest letter. So
Right.
That was included.
Right.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners? And what is the wish of the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve contingent on you looking again at the driveway situation and the amenities being developed concurrently with the phasing.
Absolutely.
I hate to ask you to do this, but I really would like to see those details.
I'd be happy to provide them to you.
Great. Next meeting.
I'll see it.
I'll be honest with you.
It's definitely something that can be worked out in a construction plan phase before we, I mean, nothing's been designed yet, so.
Yeah, but we don't get to see them. And then we get to see them in the final plat, and if we have a problem with it, then, oh, no, you approved that preliminary plat. And that's what we fall into, the trap we fall into. And I hate to see us do that, especially when this PUD's got a lot out, got a golden opportunity to really be extraordinary. But you guys have done a good job. I mean, just got a couple of minor little things you need to deal with.
Yeah, I think they're minor enough they could be worked out, but I understand your position.
I wanted to ask further about the amenities, but if we're going to defer, it may be a moot point, but I'd rather more specific direction on what is expected to be constructed in Phase 1 regarding the amenities. And maybe that could be clarified with your revision.
Hopefully we won't need a revision, but as I appreciate it, it's the amenities that are included in Phase 1. And if they're physically included in Phase 1,
Okay.
that they be constructed in Phase 1.
But do we have a plan of what those are? I mean, do you have outlined what those are?
Yes, sir. They're
It's sheet 3.
Julio, was that a motion that you made there?
There was a motion and a
Well,
second
we have a
made.
motion, so I'm waiting for us to,
Wait a minute, there was a motion made, but I don't recall a second being made on the motion. Sherry made a motion to approve with condition, but I never heard a second. I thought Julio was going to do it, but Julio had commentary.
right.
What were the conditions?
So I'm wondering if Julio, I'm kind of the same way. Are you offering
I'll make a
making the motion to defer?
I'll make a motion to defer so that he can bring clarity on these issues and
Okay.
a little greater detail on some of these areas.
All right, I have a motion to approve with condition, and I have a substitute motion to defer. And I don't have a second on either one.
Can you clarify what the issues are that you want them to address so we're not here next month confused about what they were supposed to
Yeah,
address?
this whole configuration, this whole geometry of this private access and how they're going to address the traffic flow there. We need to. The layout of the townhouses needs to be corrected so that it reflects it properly in any graphic that actually is legible and what have you. And then the other thing is a little bit greater detail on the amenities plan, what's provided. And I understand what you're saying. What's in Phase 1 is going to get done. Well, exactly what does that include? I don't see it anywhere in the documents that we have.
I'll second that.
If I might.
Okay, so you're going to second the substitute motion. Okay, I'm still waiting to see if there's a second on the original motion.
Unless the maker wants to withdraw it.
Okay. All right, then the original motion being withdrawn. I have a motion to defer for 30 days.
Mr. Chairman, let me suggest that one of the both of these items are things that staff could readily handle by itself. The ordinance is pretty clear. Any improvements that are part of the recreation and community part that are part of Phase 1 that are outlined in this document will be constructed with Phase 1. Regardless of the discussion and the sheet they gave you before, anything that is part of Phase 2 is going to be constructed concurrently with Phase 2. That's part of the deal. And the other part that has to do with the geometry of the roadway access to get in there, I would submit that with 3 excellent civil engineers on staff now, and myself and CSRS, we can probably look at that and come up with some suggestions and fix that problem for you.
Okay.
Respond to it.
Well, if there's one thing that I would add to that, though.
Go for it.
Well, I would go. This is just me, and of course I'm not voting. I would go along with that, Ron, but I would want to make sure that this commission got copies of all those changes to make sure that we were up to speed with what took place.
We have no problem with doing that.
Mr. Ziegler, my only sole concern is that historically what's happened is that we see a final development plan, a preliminary plat, we approve it subject to those conditions, we come back with a final plat, and it's like, well, no, that's not exactly what we expected, or the changes resulted in a change of layout that we would have liked to have seen. And I just don't want to burden staff with that, because that geometry could result in some physical layout changes that could affect other
In
things.
this particular case, my point would be, regardless of the fact that this says that this is a private subdivision, at some point, history would tell you the Department of Public Works will inherit that someday. Well, there's a good chance that it could happen. And in that case, since they are responsible for traffic and maintenance, and this is going to come off of a public roadway to enter this gated community, and where the actual traffic is likely to take place is at the intersection of the private area and the public area. I think that DPW and our engineering staff are quite capable of making a recommendation there, and something they're comfortable with.
I don't deny that you have the ability to make a recommendation. We just would like the opportunity to approve it. That's just my point. That's all.
Okay.
So are you standing with your
Yes, sir.
original motion to defer?
Well, I'd like to point out as well, just as the person that made the second, that these issues are not stuff that just came up tonight. I mean, these are issues that Michael brought up before and were not addressed prior to the meeting, and they're not just issues that popped up tonight. So that would be a little bit different if that was the case.
Right.
Okay.
And all the parties that are supposed to fix it going forward had opportunity to do so before. So I think a deferral is the best way to go.
Okay. Then I have a motion to defer by Julio Dumas and a second by Steve Barrow. Is there any opposition or discussion? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, item 6A, Riverton Plantation. 6 is old business. 6A, Riverton Plantation, traditional neighborhood development. Mr. Oob.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Steve Oob. I'm with Architects Southwest, the town planner for Riverton. As you're aware, we were here approximately a month ago to present this project to you. We were given an approval, but I understand that because of a glitch in the protocol for advertisement, or potential glitch, that we are taking the opportunity to represent this to you this evening. I'm not sure the protocol on our behalf for that, so you might advise me as to whether or not you want to hear the entirety of the project again, or since you know it quite well.
Has there been any major changes in the development since last month?
No, none.
Okay. Then I really don't know what you would present. I mean,
Right.
It's still, I think I can speak for the commission and say it's still pretty fresh in our minds. So if there's been no major changes to it, I don't know what you would really tell us.
Right.
I don't know if any of the commissioners have comments or questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
In our minutes from last month, we have residential, 1,248 dwelling units. In the plats that we were given tonight, we have 1,660 dwelling units.
Okay.
So something may have changed
Yeah,
here.
no, nothing's changed that I'm aware of. I can tell you that there was, from the inception of the project, there's acreage that is located to the, let me get a compass orientation here, to the south side of Highway 22. That is property that is not being executed at this point. It is 300 units that are a future piece of the project that are not platted or not intended to be platted in this project at this point. So that's why it was presented that way initially. So there is no change to the plat.
So is it 1,248 units,
Yes.
or is it 1,660 units?
What's on the plat that was presented to us this month is totally new numbers.
It should not be.
It should not be.
It should be exactly the same.
It's not.
Then they must have submitted the wrong plat. Can I take a look at
Charles?
Are you saying the plat or you're saying the write-up?
Well, the plat. I just checked it.
Well, the write-up for sure.
The write-up.
Well, the write-up, we've given you a corrected write-up with the corrected numbers, and if it is the plat with the wrong numbers,
It is the plat with the
Then-
wrong numbers.
that is our fault. We picked out the wrong one, which
Okay.
was the original submittal prior to last month's meeting.
Okay.
So it really is according to the corrected write-up. That's
So
the
the minutes
total.
is the right one,
That's correct.
and this plat is wrong.
That's right.
Okay.
And it should jive.
I just needed that clarified.
You're okay.
Yeah. I'm okay.
It's the original conception.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Just one quick, and this is Stu or Paul, whoever wants to address this. Just want to get an update on the access road to the north.
Yes.
Just to just to bring the general public up to date on it as you progress on any progression that you've had in the last 30 days.
Right. Like I told y'all last time, we're purchasing the Delbert Evans property, which is 18 acres where St. Landry Road, at the end of St. Landry Road. Sid Marchand, we've still been in communication with him as well as the Eden Point people, getting our engineers and their engineers together. Sid's drawing up something legal now. His people have agreed to allow us on the property, of course, with our engineers. We've got our wetlands guy has pulled all the infrared maps. We're preparing to have Ferris Engineering go out there and survey the area we're looking at through where we can tie in to Edenborn. And, of course, they're giving us that on CAD so we know the exact area to tie in to get through the wetlands. That's where we're at. That's the only... And we also have the access already, dedication on the side for Mr. Landry on the airport property to come out to the end of the runway. So the only property we're still working on with the engineers is the property Sid Marchand represents the client on. Still.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners? All right. Then at this time, we will go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to come up and address the commission on this property, please sign in with the secretary and you will get your 3 minutes. Okay, no one wishing to speak. Comments or questions from commissioners?
Well, just in the interest of expedience, go ahead.
I'm going to remind the commission that we will be voting twice on this item. Once is the Planning Commission, once is the Zoning Commission, and this, once again, is a recommendation to the full council. So that needs to be stated in the motion. It is a recommendation.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to recommend approval to the Parish Council to rezone to a T&D district with the condition that the developers provide a biannual report during the duration of the development. Biannual report obviously on the ongoing project as well as the efforts to get that road built, which is critical. And for purposes of clarification, we are recommending approval of the plan that the Planning Commission reviewed and approved on October 10th of 2007, which is the correct plan.
Okay. I have a motion to approve, or I have a motion to approve this. Hang on a second. I'm going to get it out. I have to do this the right way, or legal counsel's going to jump on me.
Yes.
I have a motion to send a recommendation to the parish council to approve by the planning commission. Is that good, O'Neill?
You're making a motion
To recommend approval
of the TND.
to the TND to the as the planning commission to the parish council.
That's correct.
By Julio Dumas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Paige Becknell. Is there any opposition or discussion? Motion passes.
I'll make a motion as the zoning commission to recommend to the parish council approval to rezone to a TND district with the condition, oh no, can't have the condition of the rezoning, right, O'Neill? On the rezoning.
Yes.
Okay, okay. With the condition that developers provide the biannual report during duration of development for both the development and the road of the conceptual plan that the zoning commission reviewed and approved on October 10th, 2007.
Okay. I have a motion to recommend an approval with condition by the zoning to TND by the zoning commission to the parish council.
Second.
By Julio Dumas, seconded by Steve Barrow. Is there any opposition or discussion? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 7. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion to adjourn by Julio Dumas.
Second.
Second by Paige Becknell. Is there an opposition or discussion? Motion passes, and we are adjourned. We will reconvene as a zoning commission in 10 minutes.